Alright guys, so this is going to be part 4 in the Life Essentials series, and sorry about that guys, my arm was getting tired on that side. But, you know, so many people in life, they think that they either can't get or don't deserve happiness for some reason. And me personally, I don't understand that. I mean, the type of person who I am is I'm always a very positive person, and you know, I see the good in everything and the light on the other side, and I'm, you know, more of a half full as opposed to a half empty type of person. And to the people who feel as though, you know, they don't deserve happiness because of, you know, something they may have done or something they may have said, that's not true. What you got to understand is it's an emotion. So there is no like emotion police, whereas, you know, if you do something, they'll come up to you and write you a ticket and say, you can't feel this emotion because you did this and you were charged with this emotion, all that stuff. So it's not like you can't or you shouldn't feel it. It's more of on the matter of why. Of why can't you go out there and why can't you be happy? And so many people just fall into this pit where they're like, you know, I don't really get it. Why is Sally able to be happy in her relationship, whereas, you know, I'm struggling just to find happiness on a daily basis and she's able to find it in everything? And that goes back to that life perspective that I was talking to you guys about. When you do something or you go somewhere or you see somebody, you know, that gets you excited, it opens your eyes and it really does change your whole perspective to the point where, like I said, you don't really see the negative and the bad things anymore. I used to be one of those negative people. And, you know, every day I would wake up and I'd be like, oh, I gotta go do this or I gotta go do that. And it just gets draining, guys. Like, to always be a negative Nelly or a negative Nancy, you know, not only is it draining and exhausting on you, but it's exhausting and it's draining on the rest of your friends. And, you know, happiness just, I don't know how to explain it. Once you become, or once you get infected with happiness, it changes your life. It changes your life because you start to feel a strong emotion for something. You get happy for something. You get up in the morning and you just want to go take on the world instead of living in a shell saying, why does this have to happen to me? Or why can't I have this? Just stop asking yourselves that question, guys. Go out there. Find something. Like I've been saying in my other videos, it doesn't matter what it is. If it's something that makes you happy, that's for you at the end of the day. And if nobody else can see that or nobody can understand that, well then, you know what, screw them. It's not for them, because not everybody is made the same and not everybody acts and interacts and feels the same way about things. If they did that, the world would be a boring place. And now a lot of you are probably thinking, you know, well, geez, Matt, it's not that simple to find something, you know, that makes me happy. I don't really know. Well, guess what? Like anything in life, you got to start somewhere. You have to, you know, you can't just sit on the sidelines or the side of the pond and just say, oh, well, you know, I wish I could get in there and swim. You got to dip your toe in at some point, and that's the starting point. Start somewhere in your life where it makes you, like, even the slightest bit excited. And I'm not saying that you got to be jumping for joy, but just go down that avenue. You owe it to yourself to do a little exploring and to better and to work on yourself. Because at the end of the day, that's how you're going to know what makes you happy and what doesn't. Is by doing a little self-work instead of worrying about what's going on in the outside world or what's going on with social media and things like that. Doing the work on yourself and investing in yourself is going to take you way farther than worrying about anything else in life. And I think a lot of people a lot of the time tend to overlook this because they get into the mindset of, well, you know, I'm not going to do any work on me. I don't really care about being happy. Take me as I am, or, you know, don't. And to an extent, like, I believe in that, because I don't think you should have to change who you are for somebody, or, you know, what makes you happy. But you can't just get in that stubborn type of mindset where, you know, you just completely shut off. By doing the work on yourself, you're going to find out what makes you happy and what makes you sad, and just all those kind of things. And when you do become more invested in yourself, you're going to become more self-aware of just your emotions in general. And it'll get to the point where after you've invested in yourself and you've been working on yourself, that you'll know what makes you happy. I know it sounds kind of like vague. It's hard to put in words though. Like when you do find that something and it just makes you happy, it's like no other kind of emotion. It's not negative where you don't feel like doing anything, or mad and you just feel like, you know, sometimes you want to scream or punch, or, you know, the wall or something like that. It's like you get like this, it's like a ball inside of you, and it's like it just keeps going and going and going, and it just keeps filling you up and filling you up, even on days when you feel like, you know, like depleted. I mean, I know it's going to sound a little weird, but I wish I could take the happiness that I feel and that I found in myself just going through that process. I wish I could take it and bottle up like little bits of it, and just be able to give it to people who feel hopeless and, you know, that they can't experience happiness. I just wish I could give them like a little taste of what it feels like, just a little taste, for it to be enough to get them to want to experience that all the time. And I think that when you truly want to start working on yourself, take a step back from the world. You know, as a lot of people like to say nowadays, fall back and just focus on you. Don't worry about if your friends, you know, hit you up and say, hey, you want to go out? You know, we can go party, and, you know, all this and that kind of stuff, or anything. Just take a week, guys, and just really focus on yourself. Do some soul searching, is probably the better term that I want to use here, and figure yourself out. Get really in tune with your emotions. What makes you sad? What makes you happy? What makes you mad? What makes you upset? What makes you laugh? And when you truly do figure out yourself and you're more in tune with yourself, you'll find that you don't have to search as hard for things. And then you'll realize, you'll start picking up on, you know, situations and stuff like that where you might, you know, feel sad, and then you can start avoiding them, and it'll make you more emotionally sound, because you actually understand how you as a person works, and you don't just walk around all the time saying, oh well, I don't know, this relationship doesn't really look all that good, or I don't know, this doesn't really, you know, sound all that fun to me. And then you just walk right into it, and then guess what happens? You got that little angel on your shoulder saying, hey, I told you so, you shouldn't have done that. I guess what I'm really trying to say here, guys, is, you know, through working on yourself, investing in yourself and all that, in order for you to either fall in love with something or someone or any of that, first and foremost, you have to fall in love with yourself. You have to love yourself enough to always take care of yourself mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually. So it's like keeping inventory on yourself and just checking up on yourself on a daily basis, instead of just powering through, you know, the day and always worrying about everybody else but yourself. So it just gets to a point where you get exhausted, or you reach a breaking point. So each day, whether it's in the morning, whether it's at night, whether it's a quiet time that you get, you know, at work during a break, or just something like that, find a point in the day when you can just completely shut everything out and just really check up on yourself, see how you're feeling. See if there's anything really weighing on your mind that, might be affecting your work or your friendships or your relationships or things of that nature. And by doing that, in addition to investing on yourselves, you're going to notice a change. You'll notice a change in yourself as a person, and then everybody else around you will notice that change too. And only then can you really become all that you're meant to be, by investing in yourself. And at the end of the day, when you complete all of this, then you won't be one of those people saying, oh, I don't deserve happiness. Because then you'll just know, you'll say, you know what, I'm that damn special, that I'm unique, that I deserve happiness, and nothing or anything else less than that is just not going to fly for me in my life. And yet again, when you're on that road of investing in yourself and then you're trying to find out what makes you happy, shut out everybody else's opinion. Meaning, if it may be something weird that makes you happy, like building airplane models or boat models, like something like that. If that's what makes you happy, you cannot let what anybody else has to say change your mind about what makes you happy. That's the power of your mind, is whatever you allow will happen. So if somebody's constantly badgering you about being a loser or being a cast out or like a freak or something like that, then if you allow that to sink in your mind, then guess what? You're going to start thinking and becoming that yourself because you feel as though you can't be any better. So the mind is a powerful tool. And the only way that you strengthen the mind is you got to do a little work on yourself. And whatever your happiness thing is, it's yours. You don't have to go get it approved by somebody or have them give their stamp of approval. If they can't see why that makes you happy, then guess what? It's not for them and it's yours. Alright guys, so as the title says, this is going to be part 4 in the Life Essentials series, and what we're going to be talking about today is happiness. Now I know a lot of you might be thinking, well, isn't that like the pinnacle of what all the Life Essentials videos have been building up to? And you're right in a sense, but the reason why I'm making it its own separate video is because I feel as though, you can have your goals and your dreams, you can have your passion, you can have the effort that you're putting in towards those goals, but all the while you're doing that, if it's not making you excited about, breaking through that goal or getting onto that next part of your dream or even accomplishing your dream at that point, if you're not feeling that, then I think you got to stop and ask yourself, is what you're doing, is it really something that makes you happy and that you want to do? And I think that's what a lot of the problem is for most people is, I've said it in my other videos, they'll get up and go to work at these 9-to-5 jobs, and they'll come home and they'll just be miserable. Like every single day when that alarm clock goes off, they struggle to lean over and you could just hear them grumbling and all that, just hitting the snooze button and being like, okay, well, time to go start my day and, have another shitty day, for lack of a better word there. But when you have somebody who is excited and who is happy about what they get to do each and every day when they wake up, some people, they won't even sleep. They're like, okay, I want the next day to finally get here, and it's finally here, and they just get to go at it. And that's a different type of person, because when you can experience life when you're happy to wake up the next morning and go do what you want to do, it's a completely different life perspective, because you no longer are hanging your hat on the negative things and the things that are weighing you down. Instead, what you're hanging your head on is the positive things and the things that you want to go out and just go get done. And it doesn't become a chore to you, no, it becomes something that you actively get excited about. And that is contagious in itself, because that's going to give you the energy that you need in order to go through and to do your goals and your dreams and just be able to push through it on days when you don't feel like it.